More than 7 million children have been affected by the massive earthquake and a major aftershock that devastated Turkey and Syria last week. The United Nations has said, voicing fear that many thousands more had died. In Turkey, the total number of children living in the 10 provinces hit by the two earthquakes was 4.6 million children. In Syria, 2.5 million children are affected. James Elder, spokesman for the UN Children's Agency, UNICEF, told reporters in Geneva. UNICEF fears many thousands of children have been killed. Elder said, warning that, even without verified numbers, it is tragically clear that numbers will continue to grow. The dogs helping find earthquakes survivors in Turkey. Hours after 2 years earthquakes and hundreds of aftershocks struck southeastern Turkey and northwestern Syria on February 6, much-needed rescuers began to arrive in Turkey, including canine teams from around the world that had come to lend a hand. A canine, a homopod of canine, theme includes a dog or dogs specially trained to assist security forces and emergency teams, and rescues, drug enforcement, or other operations. These dogs came from, among other countries, El Salvador, Germany, Mexico, Qatar, South Korea, Switzerland, Ukraine, and the United States. So guys, this is the current situation of Turkey, and I wish that everyone will be safely rescued, and I am sending much love to them, although I cannot go there and be with them, but let us all include them in our prayers, especially at this moment of time. This kid, if you look at this, he was very sad seeing those tragic events in his life. You know, many people died and many people are still missing. So guys, it is the time for us to unite as one in prayer, because this is such a very tragic event, and I am wishing them that they will rise up again after this shocking event of their lives. So that is all. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has said enforcement of stricter building regulations was needed in the country after a powerful earthquake that rocked southern Turkey last week, killing tens of thousands of people. Erdogan said collapsed buildings reminded the government of the need for stricter construction rules in a televised speech, adding that this government would continue work until the last person was rescued from the ruins in earthquake-hit area. Death toll in Turkey surpasses 35,000. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has said that the death toll in Turkey due to last week's earthquake has increased to 35,418. U.S. King Charles meets Turkey-Syria earthquake volunteers. The United Kingdom's King Charles has met volunteers from the Turkish and Syrian diasporas in London to express his support after more than 37,000 people died and thousands were left homeless by the recent earthquake in Turkey and northwestern Syria. Charles shook hands with charity workers during a visit to West London Turkish Volunteers, or WLTV, and chatted with them as they packed scarves, blankets, jumpers, and packs of biscuits as part of the earthquake relief effort. He also formally relaunched Syria's House, a temporary Syrian community tent in Trafalgar Square in central London, where he met the capital's Mayor Sadiq Khan, among others. Survivors have lost everything, Idlib resident Abdul Kafi Alhamdo, an activist and a resident of Idlib, says rescue workers are still continuing to search for survivors under the rubble, even as the chances of getting the people alive are almost zero. Speaking to Al Jazeera from Idlib, he sounded the alarm on the immense humanitarian emergency faced by survivors in northwestern Syria, a region he said was already devastated before the earthquake. The people who have survived this catastrophe have lost everything, he said, adding that the United Nations has been very late in responding to the people's needs. They need tents, carpets, blankets, food, medical treatment, added Almada, noting also that psychological support was needed to deal with the mental trauma. Nearly 9 million Syrians affected by last week's earthquake, UN. Nearly 9 million people in Syria were affected by last week's devastating earthquake, the United Nations has said in a statement. Women rescued 205 hours after Turkey quake. A Ukrainian rescue team has pulled a woman alive from the rubble of a building in the southern Turkish province of Hatay, some 205 hours since the first earthquake, CNN Turk reported. This takes the number of survivors rescued on Tuesday to 7. The UN has launched an appeal for a $397.6 million to help victims in Syria. A statement said the money was needed to respond to the most pressing humanitarian needs over the next 3 months. Antonio Guterres, the world's body chief, said a similar appeal to Turkey was in the final stage. First, UN aid trucks crossed into the northwest Syria through Bab al-Salam. Then, international organizations for migration trucks carrying humanitarian assistance have passed through the Bab al-Salam crossing into northwestern Syria from Turkey. A spokesperson for the United Nations Office for the Coordination of